Hello again, ladies and gentlemen. This is obviously Like Crypto, and on my recent Sui airdrop video, I was requested by the members of the community to do something similar out of the Aptos ecosystem, and well, I'm now here to deliver. So we're going to be looking into the potential criteria for the second Aptos airdrop and also into some big airdrops under the Aptos ecosystem. So in case you remember, last year is when we got the first Aptos airdrop, but that was actually only 3% of the actual supply. On their tokenomics page, they already said that they're going to be giving 51% to the community, which could mean that there's going to be multiple airdrop phases in the future, or maybe there's only going to be a second one, and then they are going to be allocating a lot of Aptos rewards to multitude of different DeFi applications and partners and etc. That's another route that they can go to. In a way, like these multi-cycle airdrops are actually pretty good. Optimism has been doing that, and Stride, for example. So that's something that they could be doing. Now, yesterday, they also released this commemorative NFT, which has been already minted out by more than 2 million people. And this is likely not going to be criteria, but there's no fault basically minting it because it's so dirt cheap. And here they just say it's purely commemorative. So in my opinion, you know, it's just like a bit of like a mark or something. And maybe it will count into something else in case you have some other OATs and NFTs, which might be building into that criteria. So let's start off kind of like speculating on what is the prime criteria for this second airdrop. And one of the things I definitely believe is the OAT campaigns that they run on Galx, which are all already over. So that's going to be a big thing. There's a lot of which ones are ongoing still on multiple different, because there's Aptos African community, the SCIS community, Turkish community, African community. So some of these can be still minted out. So that's going to be one of the criteria. There might be also a layer 3 page for Aptos. I can't remember exactly. But they did run like this, I think it was 10 or 8 week Aptos campaign for these OATs, which was earlier this year. I think it ended somewhere on the summer. The second big airdrop criteria is going to be staking. Staking, here, let me open up my Petra Wallet over here so you guys can see. So unlike in Sui, we don't have a similar proof of stake validated system. So the delegators are kind of random. So you're able to stake out inside the Aptos Labs Explorer, for example. So the criteria that are going to be here are fundamentally the amount of time that you have staked and the amount you have staked. So those two are going to be big criteria. So the OAT, staking, and the journal activity on the chain. So do you have 500 transactions on the chain, 1,000, 10, 50, etc. So those are things that I think are going to be big forms of criteria for the second airdrop. And if they're not for the second, they might be for the third or the fourth. Optimism, for example, has already changed criteria for every single cycle. So they shift things around. So that's kind of big. So those are the things that I would focus on for the second airdrop. Just be active. Providing liquidity in certain applications probably are going to be good too. Now let's kind of go into some of the dApps. In case you remember, back in December, we did our first Aptos ecosystem airdrop thing. And there are some entries on that list which we are not going to repeat in this one because this video would be too long. So in case you're looking for extra stuff to do, check out the earlier video as well. So one of the first things we have here is called WAPAL. This is, you know, an NFT marketplace. They kind of have a similar, kind of reminds me of LooksRare. So you're going to be getting points from listing, bidding, buying and selling. And then there's this loyalty system, which I believe is based on doing transactions under WAPAL and not the other NFT marketplaces. And I think it's, you know, very much of like Blur and LooksRare kind of combined in terms of its interface and how it looks. There isn't really that many super big blue chip collections on Aptos, but I guess we could talk about the Aptos monkeys, the Buff Bears. I have one of those. And then we have the Optomingos. Those are probably another one that could be big. There's also, you can buy the NFTs. I think this is like, what is this? The year 1 commemorative NFT. It's not loading at this point, but There might be some OATs on the sale, which might be worth buying, because sometimes they decide to kind of like, okay, we're not going to be counting who minted them, but who are holding them. So in case you missed out on all the AOT stuff from summer, you might want to consider maybe buying the Galax OATs. The floor is only 0.03, Aptos, so they're pretty affordable. Another very big criteria, which I probably actually should have mentioned before WAPAL, is the Aptos identity. So make sure you're going to be minting out a handle. It only costs 1 APT, so that is what, $9 at this point for 1 year. So a bit more expensive than some of the other ones because Aptos price is so high. It used to be $5 not too long ago. But I do think that Aptos price is gonna go up. I'm gonna just recite what I said on Sui video. Aptos and Sui are gonna be making it to the top 10 by the end of the year. This is my prediction, and I'm seeing a lot of potential growth for them for obvious reasons, because the technology is very good and so is the UX. So get your Aptos name, maybe get multiple years, make sure that this is your primary name. So once you buy it, make it a primary name. That's basically it. You can throw a subdomain, but that's usually never a criteria. So this is another factor that I think is going to be big. This is official service by the Aptos team, so they're not going to have their own airdrop. That's the way I've gathered. So this is by real Aptos team. Then we have a DeFi protocol, which we did mention on the December video, and this is called Amnest. They have their own liquid form Aptos, and there's a lot of like DeFi options, lending, referral programs, and a bunch of different tasks which can basically give you rewards. This is more like a retroactive airdrop, so if you're into that, this is option to go. There's a lot of lending protocols which I did leave out from the video because I've always said to you guys that lending protocols are not very valuable. They're not good farming unless you're really a millionaire and you're farming like multiple points. Most of the time they are a waste of time. They're not waste of time, but they are giving you really, really bad rewards. Like there's, making $100 airdrop from a lending protocol requires like maybe $50,000, parked into the actual protocol. So hard to make money. Then we have Mirage, which is on testnet. So in case you don't have any money, this is the best option on the list. And Mirage is basically synthetic assets, which is kind of like one of those narratives that I do like and hasn't maybe been fully realized because of the legal elements around it. But having stocks and gold, silver, all commodities through synthetic assets is actually pretty bullish. So having the ability to trade them and hold them, I think is pretty good. Then we have Panora Exchange. They have kind of two promotions going on. One is actually on Bybit, but this Bybit promotion actually requires the Bybit's own wallet, which kind of sucks because I don't want to. Some of the exchange wallets are bad, but luckily most of them are good. I haven't really actually tried the Bybit one, so I don't really have a big opinion on that. But there are some kind of nice rewards here, like which they're distributing a lot of APT from this platform. So you got the Panora airdrop, Merkle Trade, we got Supervillain Labs, Aries Market, and Amnest Finance, and Gui Inu, one of probably the biggest meme coin right now on Aptos, which has also a lot of potential, and Vibrant X, which we are featuring next. So Vibrant X is kind of like an options lending protocol. Kind of reminds me of the one that we have on Sui, which escapes my mind right now. I can't remember the name. I think it started with T or something. And they have already announced an airdrop. They have a point system going on. You can invite friends, obviously. And then there's a bridging function. I don't think this is going to be giving you points. I think you can get also points by swapping. And then there's obviously, let me see, on the earn tab, so we got a multiply, we got lending, we got staking, we got a lot of options. So, some of these might give you really want to look into the best yields, because if you believe that Aptos is going to be going $30 the end on this cycle, which I don't think is out of the question, you want to really go into these multiple things and how can I have a position already here, so I'm thinking about like how can I get the best APY on my Aptos right now. Then we have Aries Protocol, which is, another lending protocol here, a bit more established already. They also have, I think the bridge might be just using layer 0, yeah. So it's a pretty standard, you know, lending protocol if you want to lend assets here. They give a pretty nice APY boost on Aptos, so you give USDT and you get a pretty nice bonuses here on deposit APY. So I like anything that's giving 11% on the main asset and stable coins. That's pretty lucrative in my opinion, so pretty good. Moving on, we have Ditto Finance, which is another lending protocol, which has also a rewards tab, so they kind of have already checking out point systems for eventual drop. But, you know, don't expect to have millions on this, but I guess you could like lend money to one of these, then you lend that money to another and then to another, and just kind of loop them to like 5-6 different exchanges, and you're going to be getting a lot of points. But I don't like doing that myself. I don't like the risks associated, so not for everybody. Then we have Superposition, another lending protocol. And believe it or not, I did leave out some of these lending protocols from this list because there was too many of them. So it's really hard to tell which ones will not get hacked, which ones will do good. Here we have another really, really good APR, so that's why I parked out my little USDC that I had. So we're getting 21% APR. Half of that is going to be in APT rewards, which is actually pretty bullish. So I'm probably going to be adding a bit more here. They also have a multiply options here, and then there is a markets tab, which kind of goes into. So this looks actually pretty more, in my opinion, is more like a higher quality looking platform of lending protocols. But there's a couple of good options here. Now that's for the lending protocols. Let's go into the wallets. We have Petra. And Petra is, you know, the wallet that I'm using on this browser. I think there are other wallets that are okay too. Petra is pretty nice to use. And they have a couple of partnerships already established. And they have done a couple of quests inside the Jambo wallet, which we have reviewed on the channel. So maybe Jambo holders are going to be getting the Petra token. And also people who are swapping inside the wallet. And people who have done quests on Galx and Layer 3 where they have done those missions. But it's very speculative. They haven't really, you know, a lot of these wallets are kind of in the same position where they are kind of not really making any statements about any tokens. Then we have Defi Wallet. And this one has kind of like a social media task. So if you don't want to pay for anything, this can be one good option here for an airdrop. A lot of options here, referral programs, games, giveaways. They have done already a couple of, you know, promotions in the past already. And you can also register your own handle here. It says available, but I'm not able to claim. I don't know why exactly, but maybe that's a browser-related bug or a bug on the website. Moving on, we have MSafe. This is a multi-sig wallet. So not many of those around. If we remember the Safe wallet, which is the kind of the first multi-sig, that was actually a pretty big airdrop for many. So there's a lot of value in my opinion with these multi-sig. So what you want to do is make a deposit on the multi-sig, create it with a couple of different accounts, and then make staking throughout the actual application and do many transactions as possible. And those are probably going to be the criteria for the multisig if they are going to be ever doing their own token. Then we have the Martian Wallet, which we did talk about in the Sui video. We have talked about many times on the channel. They have this NFT inside the app that you can mint, which is under Aptos, if I believe, right? Or maybe it's in Sui, and that's one criteria, and then doing swaps. And there's some region restrictions on Martian, which kind of sucks. And apparently they might have their own delegate as well, but that's not applying to Aptos. So it's a good wallet if you're interacting with both of these chains. It's pretty nice, but a lot of region block shit on the swaps and bridging and other features that are built inside Martian, which I don't like. Outside from that, pretty good wallet, and they might do a token. Then we have the Pontum Network, which already did, I think this was the kind of the de facto first big Aptos and the only Aptos airdrop that we had, which is the liquid swap airdrop. This was pretty good airdrop in my opinion, but that's just one of the Pontum applications. They have the Pontum Wallet, they have the Pontum AI, and then they have their own layer 2 called Lumio. And they also have a couple of their own NFT collections. the Pontum Dark Times, and I think it was called the Pontum Pirates. And I believe those two are going to be part of, well, okay, just scratch everything that I said. Here they say the LSD is the whole governing ecosystem token, so let's forget it. Let's forget Pontum altogether. And then very last entry we have here is Ditto Finance. So if you're looking for, you know, a liquid APT, because Aptos does have technically the longest delegate unstaking period is 30 days, depending on when you unstake, because it kind of works from the phases where it's at. So it could be 3 hours, it could be 30 days, depending on where the cycle is going. So it's good to have staking tokens. I think I constantly shill them because I think they're good investment. I'm actually going to be buying more of it while we at it. And Ditto is the only one that might have a token, because there's another one called Tortuga, and Tortuga has stated on their FAQ that there will not be a token. And Ditto, and then there was Amnest, are the only two ones that have liquid tokens, far as I know, as of right now on the Aptos ecosystem. So you don't have a lot of options and leeway on these liquid staking token options, so you're kind of stuck within these two. But you also want to natively stake, because that's going to be part of the criteria. Lastly, always check out the Airdrop Recon Ops Telegram for the latest airdrop claims, news, and campaigns, which you should be farming. So in case you want to be up to date with stuff, obviously join it. And then there's obviously my personal Telegram and Discord, where you can find a lot of information and share alpha with the rest of the crew. Aptos second airdrop might be larger than the first one. I think I would put it on actual tier 1. It just depends on what they expect to do and who exactly are going to be the eligible people. I didn't get the first airdrop, even though I did some stuff on the NFT, so I guess I was marked as Cybele or some shit. I don't know, but that was kind of sad. But I think the second airdrop is going to be huge, and it's going to be bringing more people to the ecosystem, and that's why Sui and Aptos are going to be big winners of this cycle as more people are starting to build on them. Thanks for watching. I will be seeing you in the next video. Cheers.